Ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute pleasure to be here today in the Royal Irish Academy and to be the first speaker for this joint initiative between the DRI and the Irish Community Archive Network. Collaboration, Lisa talked about, very, very important. And collaboration and pooling resources and working together are really the things that underpin the work that we do in the Irish Community Archive Network. Our mission is to support communities and to encourage them to collect, preserve and share their local history and heritage online on community archive websites. And we do so that in a way that the digitised material is well presented, searchable, accessible, engaging and reusable. And we feel that this is really important because the material, the local collections that are put together, cared for and put that out there into the world by community groups of all shapes and sizes are invaluable records of our history and our heritage. And other people will want to tap into these. They will want to discover them, they'll want to explore them, and they may want to reuse them. So making sure that we are mindful of things like copyright, plagiarism, working ethically online, and ensuring that where reasonable and possible that we reference our material, for example. All of these things create standards which ensures that this material is of good quality. This initiative was initiated in 2009 by the National Museum of Ireland, and that's who I work for, and I'm very privileged to lead this project for the museum. We started out with one community group, Uachtarad, for a pilot project, and I'm delighted to say that 14 years later that group is still with us and part of the initiative. So we partner with our communities, and then after the recession, funding was tight, and we realised that a lot of the work that we're doing was synergetic with that of the county heritage officers. So we formed a model going forward where we partnered with the local authority heritage officers in a particular county. And then this year, we were delighted to welcome the Heritage Council on board as a funding partner. So we now have a programme or an initiative where you have 4 organisations in sense of the museum, the Heritage Council, the heritage officers and community groups all working together in order to digitally archive our heritage. We support currently, I think we have 28 community group members at the moment. We have 36 archives online with 2 more in development. You can see from the map our spread currently across the country, but we are constantly expanding. We support community groups of all types and sizes, so from groups that have been established for 50 years, have 100 members and produce an annual historical journal, to small rural groups with maybe only 5 or 6 members. But there's a place for everybody in iCAN. So very briefly, what is iCAN? What is the programme? Well, I suppose some of the key elements are that our members have access to a professionally presented community archive website that is custom built specifically for this purpose and is with a secure and trusted hosting company. It's also, our website platform is also contributory, which is very important because it means the wider community, the diaspora, anyone with an interest in that particular community collection can directly submit and contribute their material through the Community Archive website. How we, I suppose, support our members is through a comprehensive training programme that will equip them to be editors on their community archive websites, to administer their collections and curate their collections online, and to do so in a way that is ethical and safe. but we also provide training for all the associated activities in terms of gathering and recording and documenting and digitising. We also offer a technical support service. We have a dedicated person that is there for both the community members and the partners involved in the initiative to support all the technical aspects, as it is a digital programme. Our members get ongoing advice, guidance and support, and have access to a wide network of museum and heritage professionals. Not least of all the heritage officers, who are amazing and extremely knowledgeable, skilled, and have huge expertise, particularly around the heritage of their particular county. Being part of a wider network where we're bringing like-minded people undertaking similar activities together to share experience, share knowledge, share skills, is wonderful, but also these activities offer opportunities for social interaction, which I think during COVID was particularly meaningful and impactful. And I'm delighted to say that with the advent of the Heritage Council coming on board to support iCAN, we now have a dedicated iCAN Community Fund, which is a pot of funding that is there specifically for our members to support their community archiving activities. So, because this is, I suppose it is very important to say that iCAN is an initiative that has been led and informed by our community members from the very first pilot project. Everything we do, the direction of the initiative, the training that we put on, how we put the training on, what topics we cover, is all informed by, I suppose, the aims and aspirations of our community members. And our advisory group, which I suppose is advocating for iCAN and supporting iCAN at the top level, we have 2 community members on that advisory group to ensure that their voice is always heard in terms of making decisions around the programme. So I think it's really important today that you also hear from some of our community members. So I'm just going to play a video for you where you will hear from 5 of our groups, and then I'll come back after that.
The Irish Community Archive Network, or iCAN, is the leading organisation championing and supporting digital community archives in Ireland. Community archives reflect a shared history, identity, experience or interest. They are created by, with and for the community. Working in partnership, iCAN is supporting community groups across Ireland to establish and manage their own digital archives. iCAN connects people and places by documenting our shared heritage and making it accessible to people all over the world.
The main aim of our group was to record and archive and showcase our local area of Louisburgh and Killeen. We are so proud to be part of the Irish Community Archive Network. It's not just being part of iCAN and hosting a website, but it's the networking that we do that really creates a sense of belonging, a sense of family. There are many traditions that have died out in our community, and we wanted to educate ourselves on these past traditions. It's so important that we know where we came from, what our ancestors did in our communities, how they lived, what their homes were like. Having an open access website means that everyone can contribute, everyone can share. If somebody has a project idea, they can come to us with it. We were absolutely blown away when a member of our descendants from the community over in San Francisco got in touch with some old video archive footage of their trips to our area back in the late 1950s and early 1960s. It's such a privilege to be able to do what I do in a voluntary capacity, to work within my community, to get to know my community, to research, to interview people. It's always brought me such pleasure.
Being part of iCAN will allow us to reach out to the island diaspora in all 4 corners of the world. We've got Bear Islanders living in Argentina, in North America, in Australia, all throughout Europe. We regularly get contacted by people tracing their ancestors. We had a database of old photographs, we'd mapped our island graveyard, and now through joining iCAN, it's allowed us to actually digitise all the graveyard mapping. When we started the Oral History Project in 2022, a group of islanders came together to record the oral history, so this is documented for future generations. Being on an island, we can be geographically isolated, but now that we're part of a larger network, it's great to share our stories, our history, our information. In joining the Irish Community Archive Network, it's a great opportunity for Bear Island Projects Group to spread our heritage and our history throughout the world.
Our aim is to research and record the history and heritage of Moycullen. Moycullen Heritage joined iCAN really as a way of giving Moycullen Heritage a home. And online was an ideal way to go, and this was something that iCAN could provide the platform for. So our heritage really went from being local, insular, to available worldwide. The graveyard in Moycullen, the Shanrelig, for example, shows and reflects the community that we had. We're very fortunate really to have on our doorstep another iCAN member group in Uachtaráid, and we can collaborate with them and swap notes, and the movement of people has been identified during our collaborations with Uachtaráid. Our website has shown us that you don't actually need to be in a community to be part of deep community projects.
Local history tends to be the poor relation of national history, and the fact that iCAN has come along and is developing that and making that more accessible to people and giving it the importance that it deserves. Again, it's through iCAN and our involvement with iCAN that we're seeing this has a place and it can be done.
We were given this fabulous photograph dated 1919 of the pupils in Denard National School. It was a very exciting photograph and it has been very well received. It actually was of great interest to people, particularly the younger people. But it's a great photograph to have and we're delighted to have it.
The important thing about the website is any article we've ever written, any photograph that we have ever put in the archive is there and will be there forevermore.
We're dedicated to preserving and promoting our local history.
Every place has a story, and there's no better way to ensure that all this stuff is preserved but to put it on the website that iCAN facilitates.
We've been really delighted with the training that we've had, the support that we've had. One of the projects that we're involved in, originally it was the conservation of a 19th century farmhouse. Now we're involved in the total restoration. We have talks on a regular basis for groups, particularly for school groups who come, and we tell them the story about Hastings Farmhouse and the way of life in the locality before the modern town.
I wouldn't be as skilled as I am, but for iCAN and the training and the guidance I've had.
iCAN website is very much part of you and part of your history and your heritage. It's been a fantastic experience and I would encourage other groups to join iCAN and be part of it.
Our experience of being part of iCAN in Moycullen, it has empowered us to realise that we can achieve more than we thought we could.
I always get a real kick, I suppose, out of seeing people saying, I didn't know that. I've lived here for all my life and I didn't know that about the area. And I always enjoy hearing that.
Documenting material is extremely important. And if this knowledge isn't preserved now, it'll be lost.
The whole country is so rich in traditions and heritage, and it's so important that communities acknowledge this and archive them and record them, because you're preserving them for the future generations.
Anybody out there who's interested in local history in their community at all, iCAN is fabulous. The support is incredible. Una and I were neighbours, not pals. Now we're best of pals sometimes. And we work as a team. We're learning so much about our area. We now have an archive. That history is being kept forever, and that's the important thing.
So there you are. That was 5 of our member groups, and it was lovely to hear from them themselves about their experience of being part of this initiative. And I want to acknowledge and thank all the groups that participated in the making of that particular video. So just in terms of our, I suppose, we're very conscious of the need for sustainability across all aspects of the work we do. And one of the strands of this for iCAN, I hope you're not getting feedback there, is our collaborative partnership with the National Library and the web archiving team there. So each year, about 10 of the iCAN websites are digitally archived by the National Library and are accessioned into their web archive collection, where they can be accessed by researchers. So I think that's a really welcome initiative, and thanks to the National Library for partnering with us on that. So, just to say, at the moment, we currently have opened up for applications for community groups or groups of identity or interest that are located within County Tipperary or County Wicklow. If you are part of a group that might be interested or know anybody that is, please pass along this information and get in touch with me at ican@museum.ie if you'd like to have an application form. iCAN has a kind of project website called Our Irish Heritage. Here it's a gateway into our network, so you can scroll along and see all of the archives in the network. You can also discover history and heritage and genealogy information from individuals, groups, schools across the entire country and the diaspora as well. So it's just a kind of a larger countrywide archive. And so visit ouririshheritage.org or museum.ie for more information on iCAN, or email me at that address, and I'll look forward to answering your questions later on. Thank you very much.